ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्। सुखं नित्यं स्वप्रकाशं व्यापकं नामरूपयोः अधिष्ठानं बुद्ध्यबोध्यं बुद्धेर्दृग्यत्तु निर्मलम् अपारं सर्ववेदान्त वेद्यं प्रत्यक्परं महः तदेवाहं न मत्तोऽन्यत इति मे निश्चिता मतिः। We are seeing the analysis of an adhikari who will take up the study of this text. The question was raised that there is no such person who is qualified who will take up the study of this text, for which a counter question was raised. What are you exactly trying to say? Do you mean to say that there is not even a single, there aren't many people who will take up study of this text? Or in other words, not everyone will take up study of this text, or no one will take up study of this text. If you say that not everyone is going to take up study of this text, it is accepted by us also. We never said that everyone is going to take up study of this text. But if you say, or if you mean to say that only and only, or no one is going to take up study of this text, no one is going to take up study of this text, then it is wrong, fallacious and baseless. Why? Because in general, there are four types of people, four categories of people in this world. One is Vishayi, Pamara, Vishayi, Jidnyasu and Mukta. Out of which earlier two were analyzed. Pamara is the one who is desirous of sense pleasures and for which he is careless. He doesn't care about others, he disregards others and injunctions of Vedas. What is to be done and what is not to be done. He doesn't care about good or bad. By any means possible, he will try to gain the desired object. Then comes Vishayi, who does care about what is right and wrong. He is desirous of sense pleasures, yes, but he will take up only those vishayas which are enjoined by Shastra, and he will also think of objects or sense pleasures which are not just available here but also hereafter. And then the analysis of a Jidnyasu started. Who is a Jidnyasu? Jidnyasu, on account of studying Shastra, doing activities which are conducive to his desire for liberation. Of course, at that moment he is not desiring for liberation, but which will lead him to that desire. So, in other sense, he does upasana, etc. And because of that, he takes up study of Vedanta, Upanishads, etc. And when he takes up that study, he analyzes thus: all the sense pleasures that I experience or that I desire for are ephemeral, transient. The moment they begin, they already have ended. Before they begin, after they end and while I am experiencing them, in all 3 periods of time of their experience, they are cause of sorrow. They have given me nothing but sorrow. While trying to achieve, while trying to gain, I had to put forth effort and they gave me sorrow. While experiencing, I know because they are going to end, and because of that, I experience sorrow. And after they end, because they have ended, I am sorrowful. Then came the analysis that if such is the case, then this is not going to lead me to complete annihilation of my sorrow. So, Vishayas are not going to end my sorrows. Further, it was analyzed that as long as this body exists, as long as this body exists, so long the sorrows will continue. And when we say this body exists, we also have to understand it is not just the existence of this body, but in true sense, the identification with it. The identification with this body and consequently the objects around leads us to sorrow. It's not those objects by themselves are cause of sorrow. Objects by themselves, the situation around by itself is not the cause of sorrow, but the identification with those along with or on account of identification with this body. How do you say so? Let's say an object is lost, is misplaced. Am I sorrowful? No, because I have nothing to do with that object. But when my object, something which is mine, is lost, I am sorrowful. Why? Because I have identified with that object through identification with this body. And when identification with this body is severed, all my sorrows will go away. That's why it was said, Nasavai sharirasya satah, as long as this body exists. Navai sasharirasya satah, priya priyayoho apahatirasti. As long as this body exists and identification with this body exists. Why two different things? Because for a Jivan Mukta, even though his body exists, in absence of identification with the body, he does not experience any sorrow. So, as long as identification with the body is there, sorrows will never go away, and when the identification goes away, sorrows can never touch him. Having analyzed this, the analysis came to analyzing how this body has been gained. And it was said, this body is the result of all my past karmas. Whatever the karma that I have performed, body is the result of all those karma. Those may be good or bad. In general, human body is gained on account of mixture of good karma and bad karma. Karma performed according to Shastra and that which has not been enjoined by the Shastra. There, the analysis started. Is it that just this body is the mixture of punya and papa? It was said, no. If you say Devata Sharira, celestial bodies, the bodies which have been taken up by Devatas, those also are the result of my karma, good karma and bad karma. How do you say so? Because sorrow is seen in them also. They also have sorrows. And therefore, the body of celestial beings also is mixture of punya and papa. And thus it was concluded, now author starts, Tasmat Deva Shariramapi Punya Punya Mishra Karma Phalamityeva Nishchiyate. The celestial body is also the result of Punya and Apunya. Punya, good karma, Apunya, bad karma. Here, usually or traditionally, in English, it has been translated as meritorious deeds, etc. But it does not exactly go along with the idea of punya and papa. Because the language of origin in which the word is, it is defined slightly different. So better let's keep this word as punya and papa. न च नह वै देवानां पापं गच्छति पुण्यमेवामुं गच्छति इत्यादि श्रुतेः न देवानां पापसंबंधोऽस्ति वाच्यम्. Don't say in this way. What you should not say? Okay. You shouldn't say in this way. Devanam papam na gacchati punyam eva amum gacchati. They do not experience papa, or they don't gain any papa. They gain punya only. इत्यादि श्रुतेः देवानां पापसंबन्धः न अस्ति इति वाच्यम्. Devas do not have any sambandha, any relation with papa. It should not be understood in this way. Anyaparatvat tasyaha shruteः. Because the reason why the shruti has come is different. The purpose of the shruti is different. कर्माधिकार योग्यम शरीरम मानुषम एव नेतरत देवतीर्यगादि शरीरम. Why it has been said, if any karma has to be performed, or any karma is to be performed and its result is to be gained, or in simple words, to gain the result of karma that has been performed, you have to have human body. No other body will give you the result of those karmas. It will create samskara, but the results will not be gained. There is difference. It will not give you karma phala, but samskaras will be gained. That's a different analysis, different story. What here author is trying to say is, ataha devata sharirena krita punya punya phalam janmantare natan gacchati ityarthaha. If any result of karma is to be gained, human body is required. That means all other bodies, devata sharira or other yonis like prani, pashu, pakshi, etc. A karma performed by them, they will not gain any result in terms of punya and papa. For example, if a devata performs yajna, of course they are not going to perform yajna because they are the receivers of yajna, but let's, for the sake of an understanding, if any devata performs karma, he is not going to gain the result. Why? Because he is not adhikari. It's not enjoined for him. If he does very good karma, if he does the vadha, if he kills a rakshasa, a demon, a rakshasa is better word, he is not going to gain any punya karma. So to gain the result either in terms of punya or papa, human body is required. Therefore, whatever the punyatmaka or papatmaka karma that has been done in devata sharira, janmantare natan gacchati ityartha, they will not follow that jiva in its next birth. They will not be the cause of another birth. न तु तेषां कर्मफलाभावमात्रम् इति. But न तु तेषां कर्मफल अभावमात्रम्. But that does not mean they do not have karma phala. What is said, author further explains, kintarhi. What are you trying to say? Author explains, देव शरीरोत्पत्तेः प्राक् जन्मनि शरीरान्तरकृत शुभाशुभ कर्म फलम देवजाति शरीरे अनुभूयते एव. If you say, or if you are trying to say that, because now this is just a question answer, because author said because they do not perform any good karma or bad karma, then they should not gain any karma phala. Why should they experience any sorrow or even happiness? For which the answer is given, they do not experience sorrow on account of the karma which has been performed during that janma, but the result which they experience are the results for which karma has been done in other life, in other janma. In simple words, any experience, good or bad, which is experienced in Devata Sharira is the result of karma which has been performed in Janmantare, in a different janma. Deva Sharirotpattehe Prak. Before Deva Sharira is gained, before that Jiva is born as Devata. Prak Janmani, in earlier birth. Sharirantar Kruta, in different body. Kruta, a karma which has been performed, which can be Shubha Shubha Karma Phalam, which can give Shubha or Ashubha result, good or bad result. Devajati Sharire Anubhuyate Eva. In the celestial body, it is experienced. Tasmat Devadi Shariramapi Mishra Karma Phalameva. Therefore, this Devata Sharira also is the result of Mishra Karma, Punya and Papa. So, now a question is, other question will be raised. How do you say that it is the mixture of Mishra Karma? It has been said because of Punya Devata Sharira is gained. Before that analysis begins, author in short analyzes all the animals. Tirya Pashu Pakshi Mrugadinamapi Shariram Mishra Karma Phalameva. Tiryak. Tiryak is horizontal. All those which are horizontal. Somebody beautifully explained. All those which have horizontal backbone. Those who do not walk straight, they are all Tiryak. What are those? Pashu, Pakshi, Mruga. All animals, all birds, etc. Their body is also Mishra Karma Phalameva, is the result of Punya and Papa. How do you say? We have heard all because of performing lot of Papa Karma we gain animal body. How do you say that a Punyatmaka Phala or a Sukha is experienced on account of Punya? Because Punya is going to give Sukha. तैहि अनुभूयमान प्रचुर दुःखानां पापकर्म फलत्वेपि मैथुनादिजन्य सुखस्य पुण्यफलत्वाभ्युपगमात्. even though all the sorrows which are experienced on account of result of papa karma, the happiness which is experienced in mutual conjugation, that is the result of punya karma. Maithunadijanya sukhasya, mutual conjugation of male and female, that is experienced on account of punya. Tiryak, who are tiryak? Kitadihi. Tiryak are all insects. Pashu, chatushpat, all four-legged animals. Pakshi, pakshabhyam gaganachari, those who roam around in sky with its wings, with their wings. Mrugaha, vyagradihi, mruga, all animals who hunt, tiger etc. or bigger animals. Kechana pashupakshyadinamapi tiryagitya. Some people include pashu, pakshi etc. also in tiryag. So all animals are included in tiryag. Their bodies are also result of punya and papa. Evam निखिलमपि शरीरं पुण्यापुण्यकार्यमित्येव सिद्धान्तः. Nikhilamev shariram, all bodies are the result of punya and apunya, punya and papa. Tathapi देवशरीरस्य पापोपसर्जन पुण्यातिशयजन्यत्वात् तदभिप्रायेण शास्त्रेषु देवशरीरं पुण्यफलमित्युच्यते. अतः नात्र विरोधशङ्कावकाशः. Even though this is the case in Shastra. Now you may ask, why is it said in Shastra that Devata Sharira is the result of Punya Karma? Let me explain. Papopasarjana Punyatishaya Janyatvat. For gaining Devata Sharira, the amount of Punya needs to be very much more. There is lot of Punya and very little Papa. Papa upasarjana. Upasarjana is covering. Papa which is covered by punyatishaya. On account of lot of punya, that papa is covered, is encompassed, is not visibly seen. Tadabhiprayena, on account of this, Shastreshu, in Shastra, Deva Shariram Punya Phalamityuchyate. Therefore, Ataha Natra Virodha Shankavakasha. Atra, here, Virodha Shanka, Na Avakasha. There is no possibility of any objection. Author gives a very beautiful example. He says, यथा ब्राह्मण प्रचुरो ग्रामः ब्राह्मण ग्राम इत्युच्यते एवं पुण्यातिशय फलत्वात् देवशरीरं पुण्यस्य फलम् इति उपचर्यते न तु वस्तुतः. यथा ब्राह्मण प्रचुरो ग्रामः. If there is a village where more brahmanas are staying, more people from brahmana varna are staying, then that village is called as brahmana grama. So on account of the majority, the name has been given. There, in the same way, punyatishaya phalatvat, devata sharira is the result of large amount of punya and very little amount of papa, because there is lot of punya in that sharira. Lot of punya in that sharira, as in lot of punya is to be experienced in that sharira, in that body. That body is considered as punyasya phalam, the result of punya karma, iti upacharyate. It is just upachara, for the sake of it, not in reality, nastu vastutaha. Upacharyate for upachara, just for the sake of naming. Same way, tiryagadi shariram punyopasarjana papatichaya phalam. The animal bodies are the result of more papa, very little amount of punya. Therefore, there it is opposite. The animal bodies are considered as the result of papa. Why? Because lot of papa is to be experienced, the result of papa karma is to be experienced in that body. उत्तम मनुष्य शरीरम देव शरीर सममेव. उत्तम मनुष्य शरीरम, the greatest of the embodiment which is possible in human birth, is equal to devata sharira. If you see in Shastra or in many places, a king is considered or compared with Indra. He is like a deva only. Why? Because he has so much punya that he is experiencing happiness as good as an Indra would experience, a devata will experience. Why? Because he has done lot of tapasya, performed good karma, etc. Nicha shariram sarpari sharira tulyam. In a human birth where there is lot of sorrow which is to be experienced, it is compared to an animal body like snake, etc. So they have just graded in human birth the bodies. In human birth, the Uttama Sharira, the best possible embodiment is like Devata, and the worst possible embodiment is like animal. Evam Nikhilam api shariram punya punya phalameva. All the bodies, Nikhilam api shariram, all embodiments, punya punya phalameva, are result of punya karma and papa karma. Ataeva, therefore, papa phalatva dukkhasya sharira sambandha yavat tavat dukkha kshayaha na syat. Ataeva, therefore, papa phalatvat, being the result of papa, dukkhasya sharira sambandha yavat, as long as dukkha is joined or there is a relation between this body and dukkha, tavat dukkha kshayaha na syat. In simple words, because this body is result of karma, in those karma papa is included, so as long as this body exists, the result of those papa karma will be experienced. And because they are going to be experienced, as long as this body is there, tavat, so long, dukkha kshayaha na syat. Total annihilation of sorrows is not possible. Tataha, therefore, सर्वशरीरीणां स्वस्वशरीरं स्वस्वार्जित धर्माधर्म फलभूतमेव इति विवेकः उत्पद्यते. Now this jijnasu comes to this discriminatory understanding that sarvasharirinam, all those who have embodiments, all those who have taken births, their own embodiments, swashariram, those embodiments are swaswarjita dharma dharma phalabhutam eva, are the results of their own good and bad karmas, karma according to Shastra and contrary to its injunctions. So it is result of dharma and adharma, punya and papa. Where is he going with this viveka? If the cause of this embodiment is dharma and adharma, punya and papa, then cause needs to be removed to remove sorrow. Therefore, he says, Vinatu nishesha dharma dharmadi nivrittim नात्यंतिकतया शरीर विनाशः संभवेत. So long as the dharma dharma nivrutti, the punya and papa is destroyed, not destroyed, so long as this punya and papa is not destroyed, till then sharira natyantikataya sharira vinashah sambhavet. This body will not end for good. Now, because it's in Sanskrit, we have to jumble English sentence according to that. But if we are to put in simple terms, if you are to destroy this body for good, the death is not enough. Why? For next embodiments, already karmas are there. So long as all the results of this punya and papa are not destroyed, so long the body embodiments or this body will not end. He further analyzes. Prarabdha nashad adyatana sharira nashepi punaha. You may say this body is going to end when prarabdha ends. Yes, very true. On account of prarabdha, adyatana sharira nasha. The birth, this embodiment which we have right now will end. Api punha, but शरीरांतर प्राचीनानंत कोटि जन्मार्जित पुण्य पुण्यवशात जायेतैव. New birth will be gained on account of all prachina, ancient, ananta, innumerable, ananta koti. So innumerable multiplied by millions. So innumerable. Don't even try to count. Janmarjita, that which has been gained in those janma. What is that? Punya and apunya. So on account of all that punya and apunya that we have stored in our FD, because of that, new birth will be gained. Tasmat निशेष कर्म क्षयामंतरा नात्यंतिक शरीर नाश रूप मोक्षः संभवति. So just by destroying the cause of this birth is not enough. You have to destroy all those karmas which are there, which we have accumulated. Nishesha karma kshayamantara. Nishesha karma, so you have to destroy prarabdha, sanchita, agami, everything. And only when all those are destroyed, then alone आत्यंतिक शरीर नाश रूप मोक्षः संभवति. न संभवति. Only when all those karmas are destroyed, then alone आत्यंतिक शरीर नाश रूप मोक्षः संभवति. The moksha where no next birth will be taken up will be gained. What do you mean by moksha where no next birth is going to be taken up? Yes, we have moksha, salokya, samipya, sayujya, etc. So salokya, going into same loka as upasya devata, samipya, going near to that devata, etc. In all those, it is a type of moksha, but next embodiment is assured. So moksha where no next embodiment is there, for that moksha you have to destroy all these karmas. Now begins the next analysis. So far author has come to understand or to analyze sorrows are on account of this body. this body is the result of punya and papa. That punya and papa cannot be destroyed just like that. So if we are to end the body which is the cause of sorrow, we have to destroy the cause of this embodiment. The cause of this embodiment is punya karma and papa karma. But it's not just that by the ending this body, my next birth will not be there. Why? Because for next births, I have accumulated many punyatmaka, papatmaka karma in my all earlier innumerable births. So I have to destroy all those karma. So punya and papa needs to be destroyed. So punya and papa, punyatmaka karma, papatmaka karma. So author says, to destroy that punya and papa, punya punyayoscha kshayaha na ragadveshadi nivrutimantara घटते इति घटेत इति vivekaha tataha jayate. Now if I am to destroy that punya and papa, I have to stop taking to punyatmaka karma and papatmaka karma first. Say there is an FD and I have to finish all the money in that account. Not just FD, let's take a bank account. If I have to empty that bank account, it's not that I can, by withdrawing that bank account is going to be empty. I have to stop putting money in that account. I have to stop putting money in that account also. So if I am to destroy all my past karmas, first I have to stop adding karma into that account. How will that be achieved? Author says, ragadvesha nivrittihi. Without removing raga and dvesha, punya and papa can never be destroyed. Etat sharirarambhaka. Author further says, एतत् शरीरारंभक पुण्या पुण्ययोः भोगेन क्षयेपि रागद्वेषवशात् पुण्या पुण्यरूप कर्मांतरोत्पत्तिः स्यात्. Now a wise person may say, what will he say? Why are you worried? Just go on experiencing that punya and papa. This birth, next birth, the birth after that, at some point of time, whatever that has been experienced is going to end. Why are you taking into so much analysis and worried about it? Author says, no. Etat sharirarambhaka punya punyayoho bhogena kshayepi. Whatever that started this embodiment, by experiencing those results, may that be punyatmaka or papatmaka, good or bad, even after they are ended, ragadveshavashat punya punya rupa karmantarotpattihi syat. Because of raga and dvesha, the likes and dislikes, the performing conducive activities and going away from non-conducive activities. By doing that, because of raga and dvesha, I go on performing karma and go on adding into my account punya and papa. So if I really am to destroy, annihilate punya and papa, what do I have to do? Tasmat nishesha raga dvesha nivrutti mantara nashesha karma kshayaha. To destroy all karmas, first I have to destroy raga and dvesha. How do I destroy that? What is exactly raga and dvesha? What exactly is raga dvesha? It says, raga dveshau cha ishtanishta sadhanata jnana prayojyau iti. ततः जानाति विवेकी. In Yoga Sutras, it has been said, Sukhanushayi Ragaha, Dukkhanushayi Dveshaha. Sukha Anushayi, that which makes me perform karma to gain that sukha, is Raga. Dukkhanushayi Dveshaha, that karma because of which I experience sorrow, and towards that karma, that which I feel is Dvesha. Here, in other words, the same idea has been explained by author. Author says, Raga Dveshaucha, Raga and Dvesha, Ishta Anishta Sadhanata Prayojyau. Ishta Sadhana, Anishta Sadhanata Prayojyau. Sadhanata Jnana Prayojyau. That which jnana, that which gives me understanding of this sadhana. These means are going to give me conducive results, and these means are going to give me non-conducive results. So the desire to perform conducive results, the knowledge because of which, the idea because of which I perform the karma which is going to give me conducive result, that understanding is raga. The understanding because of which I have aversion towards karma which is going to give me non-conducive results, that understanding is dvesha. Ishtaha ragaha, anishte dveshascha sarva prani sadharanam. And don't say this is only in human body. In all embodiments it's there. Ishtaha raga, that whatever that is conducive, that is raga. Whatever that is contrary towards that, it is dvesha. Tasmat, therefore, whatever the embodiment may be, ishtanishta sadhanata buddhi nivritti mantara na raga dveshau nivartete. As long as this is good for me and this is bad for me, this analysis is stopped, or these ideas are destroyed, are not destroyed, pardon. As long as this is good for me and this is bad for me, these ideas are not destroyed, so long raga dvesha will not be destroyed. So to destroy raga and dvesha, you have to destroy the idea that something is conducive for me and something is contrary for me. Now, how to destroy this ishta and anishta sadhanata buddhi? This ishtanishta sadhanata buddhirapi bheda dhi nibandhana iti vivekaha tato jayate. Now comes a very important part. Let's take just in simple terms. Sorrows are experienced because of body. Body is there because of punya and papa. Punya and papa are there because of karma. Karma are performed because of ishta buddhi and anishta buddhi. Conducive and contrary, raga and dvesha. Raga and dvesha are there because of the idea of conduciveness and non-conduciveness, and this idea of ishta and anishta is on account of bheda dhi nibandhana iti, on account of differences. Because something is different from me, that thing is either conducive for me or non-conducive for me. A very important point. Only when a thing is different from me, then alone I will have the idea of conduciveness and non-conduciveness. Author gives example. Yada swaswarupad anyadiva dvitiyam vastva buddhyate तदा तत्र इष्टसाधनता बुद्धिर्वा अनिष्टसाधनता बुद्धिर्वा जायेत. Only when swaswarupadanyadiva, something which is different from me, that second object is experienced, seen, then in that object ishta sadhanata buddhi, that object is conducive for me, and anishta sadhanata is not conducive for me, this idea shall arise. स्वस्वरूपमात्रे तु कस्यचिदपि इष्टसाधनता बुद्धिर्वा अनिष्टसाधनता बुद्धिर्वा न जायते. But in one's own self, nobody has this idea of conducive and non-conduciveness. We never, here again, swaswarupa matre, in one's own self, not in one's own body. I never say I am conducive for myself and I am non-conducive for myself. At one point of time I may say, but there I have identified myself with my mind, which is different from me. But in my own self, I don't like myself. I never say. When I say I don't like myself, the I which I refer to is my intellect or my mind, where that mind and intellect is different, understood to be different from me. So in simple words, whatever that is different from me, in that I will have this idea of conduciveness and non-conduciveness. Sukha sadhanam anukulam ishta sadhanam iti cha uchyate. Whatever that gives me sukha is conducive and desirable. Dukkha sadhana is pratikula, non-conducive. Anishta sadhanam, non-desirable, undesirable. Swaswarupam tu na sukhasya va dukkhasya va sadhanam bhavati. But my own swarupa, my own true nature, is never the cause of sukha or dukkha, happiness or sorrow. Tasya sukhaswarupattvena sukha sadhanatva sambhavat. Because me, myself being of the nature of happiness, it can never be the cause of sorrow or happiness. Here we will stop. We will understand this idea again. Why? Because this idea is again going to continue with the next analysis, but that we will see the next time. Om Asato ma Sadgamaya Tamaso ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya. Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.